I'm glad you're going up to Hampton Gorge with Hope, Mom. I checked with the state police, and they said the roads are clear all the way.
Oh, that's good. Well, the driver's out warming up the car now, so I'll run upstairs and see if Emily has Alan Michael ready.
Okay. Honey, I'm glad to have this time alone with you. I just wanted to tell you, I didn't want you to be upset when I was talking about that threat that was out there when I was talking to you last night, but I know it's a terrible way to have to live, looking over your shoulder all the time, but I just think you should be cautious and be aware, that's all.
Yes, I know. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't worried about it and didn't think about it a great deal last night. As a matter of fact, when I got home, I rushed right up to the nursery to check on Alan Michael because the staff were all sleeping.
That's too bad.
Dad, I can't help thinking that that man had ample opportunity to harm me and Alan Michael when we were in Tenerife. I mean, we were up in that villa all by ourselves after Alan left.
Well, don't forget, he took right off after Alan.
That's true. And there was that time when I took the baby over to Uncle Ed's house for air, and that man was there.
Well, anyway, be careful.
Oh, I will, Dad. I will. Listen, I'm going to go check on and get some things that Emily got ready for Alan Michael.
There he is.
Well, I'm glad that you had that talk with Hope last night, because I have a definite idea that she's been so concerned about Alan that she hasn't been able to think about anything else.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I've been so concerned is because it's a very desolate area up there through those mountains.
Well, now, what about that private detective you hired to follow Hope?
Well, he's going to be following you all the way. I haven't told her about him, by the way, because I don't want her to feel that she's living in some kind of a combat zone along with everything else.
I think you're right about that, dear.
Well, I'm all set.
Okay, well, have a good trip and bail it Alan for me.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Dad.
You sure you don't mind me leaving this with you?
No, I'm here alone now. I just was kind of surprised this morning when you called up and you asked me to store them for you. I mean, what made you decide so suddenly?
Oh, a lot of different reasons. I've done all I can do as far as the divorce is concerned. Derek will handle that from here on in. I know that talking to Amanda is hopeless. My staying here in Springfield is like rubbing salt into the wounds at this point.
I guess so.
You know, last couple of months in Europe have probably been the most positive, productive months of my life. Unfortunately, it turned out to be disastrous from Amanda's point of view, but I can't start questioning whether I was right or wrong. I really believe that by being honest with her, I did the right thing. And after our conversation last night, I realized the last thing in the world I want to do is confuse you or mess up your life. So, all in all.
Just if you're going on my account, I'd much rather be confused than lonely and missing you.
You didn't eat again yesterday, did you? Look, there's something you should know. Ben was over at the house last night, and while he was looking through your sketches, he found an envelope addressed to you. Oh, there was nothing in it. But we called Ross and gave him the return address. Mr. and Mrs. Howard Long from Omaha.
Why, Jackie? Why didn't you leave that alone?
Do you know where I've been this morning? Justin and I went with Mike and Lieutenant Wyatt out to the airport to pick up a small suitcase that was flown in last night. Something you apparently tried to get rid of in the Milwaukee airport. The Milwaukee Lost and Found had a hard time identifying it as yours, but they managed to through a ticket they found inside it from a pawn shop here in Springfield. Carrie, you must know that Justin and I or Ross would have given you anything you needed. Can you imagine how I must have felt when we went to that pawn shop and I had to redeem my own diamond necklace?
Excuse me, is this 1326 Linwood Drive?
That's right.
Now, are you Mr. Howard Long?
Right again.
My name is Ross Marler. I came here this morning to ask you a few questions, if I may.
Yeah, well, come on in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look, what's this all about? As you see, we're in the process of moving here, and we're a little bit short on time this morning.
Yes, I know. I saw the for sale sign out in the front lawn. Look, I'm an attorney from Springfield, and I'm quite sure that you know a client of mine. Her name is Carrie Todd. Really doesn't matter whether you confirm or deny knowing her, because I know for a fact that you do. An envelope addressed to Carrie Anderson was found amongst her things, and it had this return address on it.
What, reason were we supposed to have for writing to this, Miss Todd?
Hey, you see, that's what I don't know, because the envelope is empty. Look, I don't understand why everyone I talk to in Omaha is so afraid to give me any information, but I am getting a little desperate at this point, because next week I have to defend Carrie Todd on 2 counts of murder, and if you don't cooperate with me, you are both going to be subpoenaed as witnesses.
Award-winning Guiding Light. This portion is presented by Bounce. It gets clothes soft, free of static cling, and gives them long-lasting freshness. And by Prel, the shampoo that frees your hair to be beautifully full and thick.
I didn't come here to accuse you or humiliate you, Carrie. Justin and I would never let it go on any further than it already has. We haven't even told Ross.
Please don't tell him. Just don't tell him. He's disillusioned enough already.
It would be hard not to feel that way when someone you love so much suddenly wants nothing to do with you. Carrie, you claim to be so concerned about Ross, and yet you won't do anything to help him. I'm sorry. I've tried to understand. I've tried to believe the reasons you've given for what you've done. But it's just one contradiction after another. Now, either you love someone or you don't. If you really love Ross, what do you think it's going to do to him when he finds out that you haven't eaten in 2 days? And that you refuse to cooperate with the doctors here? Ross goes into court next week. And if you continue like this, you won't even be well enough to appear. Wait a minute. That's what you're trying to do, isn't it? Carrie, you must know it's not going to work. They'll put you back in the hospital if they have to and postpone the trial until you're well. But it's going to happen. Carrie, it's going to happen, and nothing is going to stop it from happening. Carrie!
So you didn't know that Carrie was charged with murder?
Look, I am really going to have to ask you to leave now, Mr. Marler. My wife and I have nothing more to say to you.
Yes, please leave.
Look, would you tell me why you're moving away so quickly? I mean, judging from the sign up front, you haven't even sold the house yet.
My husband's been transferred.
Yeah, that's right. See, it's very, very common in business, having to relocate before you've been able to sell the house.
Yes. Would you mind telling me where you're moving to?
Yes, I would.
Mr. Marler, my husband has already said that we have nothing more to tell you.
Now, would you please go?
Now, look, what is it that you are so damn determined to hide? I mean, is this some sort of conspiracy or something? If that's the case, then you must know a private detective right here in Omaha by the name of Jack Williams, but of course he's already left town. And what about Dr. Daniel Hunt? He won't see or talk to me either. And how about a Mr. Laird, of the now-defunct Laird and Sogard? All he would say is that I should forget the whole damn thing. Is that your advice to me, too?
We have no advice for you. Now, listen. I have asked you to leave. Now, I am telling you...
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Be tough about...
I'm going to leave. But I think you should know that I am not just Carrie Todd's attorney. I am very much in love with this woman, so I'm quite determined in this case. You know, whatever it is you folks are hiding, you really think it's worth living with the knowledge that Carrie may very well go to prison for the rest of her life?
Oh, Howard.
I'm sorry, Ben.
Can we live with something like that?
I don't know. But do we really have any choice?
I could have told you that was Josh.
How?
Just by the look on your face.
Well, I will never deny that I'm slightly prejudiced.
Howdy.
Hi, honey.
How you doing?
Sit down, join
Please
us.
sit down. Oh, okay.
So how are things at Spalding Enterprises?
Well, I'll tell you, I was lucky to get away with an hour for lunch today. All of which brings me to a favor I'd like to ask.
Name it.
Well, even though I'm the Spalding liaison, I'm still on the Lewis Oil payroll, and even though Brother Billy makes about twice as much as I do, HB hasn't been too quick about getting me my checks on time. And, well, with the new car that I bought and the hotel I'm staying in and a little extra on the side for entertainment to keep me happy, I'm running a little short. I was wondering if maybe you could lend me a foul.
You got it. I've got to go back in the office in a little bit and check some things out with Tony. I'll write you a check and make sure you get it before you finish lunch.
Thank you, darling. I really admire your taste in women, Mike. She's the only one I could count on ever since I was a kid. I mean, she never said no. And I promise I'll get you the money back as soon as I get my next check.
Don't worry about it. You have done me plenty of favors in here and in the disco.
Well, I appreciate it. And when Floyd's career takes off like I know it's going to, I'm not going to have to worry about getting money from HB anymore. You know, I kind of think that he does it just to needle me and just to make me go to him for money.
Well, listen, don't think about it. You go enjoy your lunch. I'll come over and I'll say hello to Gracie later and give you the check.
Okay, darling. Thanks. I'll see you later.
Isn't he something? I tell you, that guy's got charm he hadn't even tapped yet.
Trish, I know how much you love him, and it really isn't any of my business, but I don't know if you did him a favor by telling him that he didn't have to repay that loan. You know, sometimes you can be too generous with people you care about, and it doesn't really help them.
If you're trying to tell me that I'm spoiling my kid brother, I'll just put you on a list of people who've been telling me that for years. Maybe you're right. But I'm just trying to compensate for the way our father treated Josh most of his life.
Well, yeah, I remember you saying that, but he doesn't look like he's lacking for all that much to me.
Like it doesn't have anything to do with material things. My mother died shortly after Josh was born, and, well, even though Daddy never said anything about it, I think he always held that against Josh. He always praised Billy for anything he did, but when it was Josh, well, he could just never measure up. I mean, for instance, Josh was really trying to help my situation with Andy by getting to be friendly with him, and Andy just used him like he used everybody else. He was using Josh's concern for me to steal that money from him. You remember when I told you that he got him drunk and set him up in that Beverly Hills hotel with some call girl?
Yes, I remember that. And I'm not taking on the sides with Andy for 1 second, believe me when I tell you this, but unless Andy had a gun to his head and made him go up there, you've got to hold Josh partly responsible.
Josh was very young, Mike. And even after they found the money, Daddy never let him forget it. He still won't. Look, would you order some coffee for us? I'm going to go write that check. I don't want to forget.
I was really surprised when you called me up to have lunch with you today.
Why surprise?
Well, because you seemed really annoyed last night when I let you come to my door, but I wouldn't let you come in.
Well, I wouldn't say annoyed exactly. Besides, when I woke up in my lonely hotel suite this morning thinking about you, I respected you for standing firm. Besides, it's all part of the sport anyway, I think, isn't it?
No, I wasn't playing any sport, Josh.
I know that, or I wouldn't be sitting next to you right now.
I imagine you're not used to getting a lot of girls saying no to you.
Why do you say that?
Well, you seem so sure of yourself, and I have to admit, you are kind of hard to say no to.
Did you talk to Nola today?
No, but I called her last night before I went to bed, and Kelly Nelson left orders for no more phone calls. He wanted her to go to sleep.
Well, I guess that's where he went when he left the disco last night. I mean, I saw Morgan leaving with Derek and Hillary alone later on.
You're very observant, aren't you?
I don't know many people here, so it's easy to keep tabs on the ones I know. But I'd still like to know exactly what happened between Nola and Kelly and Morgan.
Why are you so interested?
I just think it's a good idea to get to know as much as you can about new people that you meet when you move to a new town, that's all.
Here you go. Hi, Gracie. How are you?
Thank you, darling.
Good. I can highly recommend the asparagus quiche on the menu today. Mike and I just had it for lunch, and it's excellent, even if I say so myself.
Well, thanks for the idea.
Good. Enjoy.
Thanks.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm kind of partial to her myself.
Well, I don't know about asparagus quiche, but I'm looking forward to lunch.
So am I. And I'm also looking forward to that dinner you're going to cook for me tonight.
What dinner? I know I was a little lightheaded last night, but I don't remember inviting you to dinner. I go bowling with Pete tonight.
Well, I know Pete's going to be terribly disappointed when you call him up and tell him you canceled your plans, but not half as disappointed as I'd be if you backed out.
Well, not as bad as I had imagined it. Although I don't really like the thought of every time Alan looks out the door seeing guards or looking at the window and seeing grating.
I know, dear. But I think you should try not to let Alan see the way you feel. Honey, before he gets here, I know he's going to want to spend some time with you, with Alan Michael, but I think he'll want to spend some time with you alone, too. So why don't I just take the baby out to the recreation room later?
Thank you, Grandma. That would be very nice.
We'll continue with part 2 of Guiding Light in a moment. This portion of Guiding Light is presented by Dawn, the dishwashing liquid that takes grease out of your way. And by Coast Soap, the refreshing soap that brings you back to life. Coast Deodorant Soap, the eye-opener.
You're looking very well, darling.
So are you. Hello, Bert.
Hello, Alan. Looks here to see you.
I see. Look at you. Is it possible that you've gotten so big in just a few days? I see you've been taking good care of your mother. She's never looked more beautiful.
He slept almost all the way up here in the car.
Thank God he's too young to remember this place.
Mike, Ross Marler just called. I offered to come out and get you. He said not to bother. He had to finish on some business with the Omaha police, and he's going to call you back later when he has some definite information. Oh, did he say what it was about at all? No, he didn't. He sounded excited and in a hurry, and there were a bunch of people in the background. That's all I know. Well, thank you.
Oh, there's Ben and Eve. I'll get them a table.
Relax. I'll take care of this.
Thank you.
Eve, hi.
Hello, Tony.
It's about time we see you here. Tell me, when am I going to see you around Wired for Sound?
Well, one of these days, I guess.
Okay.
Tony, this is Ben McFerrin. This is Tony Reardon.
Hi, how are you? Fine, nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you from Kelly and Morgan Nelson. I understand you painted a beautiful picture of Morgan.
Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing, and I just wanted to get a chance to meet you, Mr. McFerrin, and introduce myself. I'm Josh Lewis.
Ah, right.
He's
How do you do?
Trish's brother.
All right.
Hey, Morgan's told me a lot about you, and, well, I just wanted to let you know that I'm working very closely with Amanda, and she's doing a hell of a job keeping the business together.
Well, that's good.
Well, nice to meet you.
I heard Tony say something about a portrait that you did of Morgan, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, this is probably about the best thing I've done to date.
No, you can't lose with subject matter like that.
Right.
I'd like to see it sometime.
Well, if you're ever in Chicago, just drop by the Blythe Museum, because that's where it is. Or maybe get Morgan to show you the miniature I did of it. I did a locket that Kelly gave her for her birthday last summer.
I just might be in Chicago on business one day real soon. I'll stop by the Blythe and take a look.
Terrific. Got a table for you right here.
Great. Let's do it.
Thank you.
See you.
What's this for?
Well, I thought you might like to call What's-His-Face and tell him that the bowling's off.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you look like you're playing hooky. Come on now, Jackie gave you the whole day off. Stop being so uncomfortable.
It's not that.
What then? You've hardly said a word all morning. I mean, I don't want to leave Springfield with a complex. Eve, I didn't come back here with the intention of confusing either one of us. But I think it's important that we be honest about what we feel for each other now.
Well, I'm trying to work on that, but see, unlike you, I haven't had all that time to think about it in Europe, you know. I was here, worried about Rita and all the things that have happened to people I care about since Diane Ballard was killed.
Well, you know, I heard about Diane right before I left, and I thought about that a lot, my experience with her when I was over there, and that was probably the worst mistake I've ever made in my life because it cost me you.
We were both young, pretty naive then. I don't think we should look back at the past and try to blame ourselves for what we did.
No, I didn't bring it up for that reason. Just to say that very few people ever get a chance to correct their past mistakes, and maybe that's something you should think about while you're trying to sort things out.
Mike, Dr. Marler just called his secretary, told him to call here. It sounds urgent. Oh, thank you.
Yes, all right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
What did you find out from the moving company?
Well, they're not doing it. They put the furniture in storage and they're not going to do anything with it until they hear from the Longs again.
Well, don't worry. As soon as they do, I'll be here to follow through on it, and we'll know exactly where they're headed with their stuff.
Good. Captain Spears, I appreciate all your help. You know, when I left this morning, I got the name of the real estate agent from the for sale sign on the front lawn, and I asked him about Howard Long's employer, who seems as mystified by all this as I am. Howard Long is a model employee for 15 years in a very high salaried position. And then he went in last week and he suddenly resigned without any explanation except to say that he wanted to move his family out of Omaha. And then when they told him that he was going to lose all 15 years of his benefits, it didn't seem to faze him at all.
Well, what do you make of all that?
I just don't know. I mean, every move I make in this case, the stakes just get higher and higher. What is it? I can't figure out. What is it that they're all trying to hide?
I wish I knew, Mr. Mull.
Look, I am going to call a colleague of mine in Springfield. I'll reverse the charges.
Be my guest. I'm going back in the kitchen and check out that carton of papers, see if there's anything that'll give us some kind of lead. Oh, maybe, hopefully, we'll find something back in my files at the headquarters, huh?
Oh, good. Thanks. I appreciate it. Hello?
Is this Howard Long?
No, he's not at home at the moment. May I ask who's calling?
When will Mr. Long be back?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'll be happy to take a message for him.
Never mind, it's all right. I'll call back later.
Dr. Hunt? Dr. Hunt, this is Ross Marler. I recognize your voice, so perhaps I should tell you that I was about to leave here and come over to your office and tell you that you may very well be subpoenaed and... Dr. Hunt?
You'll see Daddy again later.
Bye-bye.
You will. Bye.
I've dreamed of this moment.
So have I. It's the only thing I thought about in the car coming up.
I've had so much free time, I've been thinking about everybody back in Springfield and wondering how they are. I suppose it's too much to expect that Amanda has come around or even called you.
But Henry and Jennifer have been wonderful. They've called all the time and they've tried to be supportive, but they have made an effort of avoiding saying Amanda's name.
Well, I was relieved to hear that she's gone back to the office because she's proved herself so capable. And indirectly, she's doing us a favor, even though those aren't her reasons for going back. How's Philip?
Oh, Jackie said to tell you that Philip did very well on his exams, despite the fact that he took all that time off this winter, and he's very happy at school.
Oh, that's good. I've been writing him a long letter. Suddenly find that I have time to write all those letters I never had time for before.
That letter you wrote me was such a help to me, darling.
Well, we both did promise that we were going to make this time as constructive as possible so that we wouldn't consider it a total waste. You know, since the day I got here, I remembered that book that Andy Norris was so eager for me to write. I've never considered myself a writer, but I thought, well, maybe I could get a few things down on paper and perhaps someone might read it and see that I made mistakes along the way and how bitterly I regret them, and perhaps it'll keep them from making the same mistakes and paying for them as dearly as I have.
It sounds like a wonderful idea, darling.
Well, if I ever do get it down on paper, you're going to be on every page. Because you're at the center of all my thoughts now. Being separated from you is the real punishment.
So Carrie's still on this self-imposed fast in her jail cell.
Yes, I went to see Sarah right after I left her, and Sarah went directly there. Carrie refused to see her.
Yeah, well, I talked to Ross on the phone just before I saw you, and I didn't say anything to him about this because he's got enough to think about now in Omaha as it is. But he did want me to take care of things here, so I can't just stand by and let Carrie starve herself to death in jail.
Yeah, Mike, I can't believe that those people who wrote Carrie that letter won't admit that they knew her and now have vanished, just like that private investigator that Joe Bradley hired.
You know, there may be a way to get her to see us.
What do you mean?
Let's talk about it on the way, okay?
All right.
Well, good luck with it. I'll wait at home to hear from you.
All right, John.
Trish, I'm going to be leaving now, but I'll talk to you very soon.
Okay, good.
Oh, and if you hear from Vanessa, give her my love.
I will if she and Blanche haven't strangled one another. Bye. Gracie, can I borrow Josh for a minute?
Oh, sure, but I have to get back to the beauty parlor soon.
I won't forget, and if that guy gives any problem, I'll just offer to buy out the place.
I'd love to see the expression on his face.
Listen, Tony had a great idea for a newspaper ad, but it's going to cost a lot of money.
Well, I don't think that's really necessary, not with wire percent.
Well, let's look at it.
Oh, Gracie, how was your lunch?
Terrific. Better than an egg salad sandwich.
I know it's none of my business, but I really think you ought to watch yourself with that guy.
I'm a big girl now, remember?
Yeah. Well, you must be getting to know Josh pretty well. You know, last night at the disco and this afternoon here for lunch. Sounds serious.
You know, I'd love to think it was jealousy I'm hearing, but I know you better. What are you trying to say?
Nothing, Gracie. Forget it.
Are you going to see Nola today?
Yeah, well, I'm giving myself a chance to simmer down before I do that.
What do you mean?
Nothing, Gracie, nothing. Listen, can I get you some more coffee or something while you're waiting for Prince Charming to come back?
No, thanks. But if you see Nola today, tell her I'll be by after work.
Yeah, I'll tell her. Everything okay here?
Fine.
Good.
I really do want to try and see Jennifer before I take off.
I think you should.
The only problem is that I don't want to go to the office because I'm afraid I'm going to run into Amanda.
I hope you understand me saying this to you, but I really do think you should see Amanda before you go. I mean, just say goodbye and make her try to understand, at least.
I would if I thought it would do any good, but there's no way in the world I'm going to convince her now that you weren't the reason for everything I said to her.
Well, I'm just sorry because I thought we were starting to be friends. And after that conversation we had in Mike's office the other day, I can see she'll never trust me again.
That is the one thing that Amanda has to learn is trust. Trust people.
I think we've got another case of that back in this room.
Tony?
Amanda, hi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I know Josh Lewis is having lunch here today, and I have to talk to him about something very, very important. Do you know where he is?
Yeah, he's back in the office talking to Trish. Listen, I'll go get him for you. Would you like to wait at the bar?
Thank you, I will.
You're welcome.
say something.
I don't think it's a good time, Ben. Not after she's seen us together like this again.
I'll be right back. Hello, Amanda.
I have nothing to say to you.
Well, I have something to say to you, so maybe you should just listen, because I don't want to create an embarrassing scene for either one of us.
Then why don't you just go back to your table with Eve and leave me alone?
Look, listen. Just not get emotional here, all right?
You have nothing to fear from me on that score. The only emotion I feel for you right now is contempt. You know, your ego really astonishes me.
What is that supposed to
The only reason I came in here today is to see a business colleague who's having lunch. But the minute I walk in, you assume that I'm going to be devastated and fly into some wild, emotional rage just because you're sitting at the same table with Eve. I think your ego won't allow you to believe that I couldn't care less.
I don't believe that, and my ego has nothing to do with it.
I think you won't allow yourself to believe that I don't see you as that white knight in shining armor anymore, because I've seen through you for what you really are. And since Eve hasn't seen through that facade of yours, I suggest you go back to her before she realizes that I'm not going to fall apart before your very eyes.
Fine, I will. I just wanted you to know that I'm going to be leaving Springfield tomorrow, probably, and that Derek will be handling my end of the divorce.
Fine.
One other thing. I don't want Eve's name dragged into any of this. What happened was between you and me.
You have nothing to say about that. I'm going to use whatever I can to get free from you as soon as possible.
That is not right.
Well, that's all I had to say on the subject.
Amanda, did you want to see me?
Yes. Excuse me.
She wouldn't see us when we told him it was us, so maybe that message will arouse her curiosity enough to want to come in here and see what it's all about. So, what did the prison doctor tell you?
Well, she doesn't eat any solid food in 48 hours. She's existing solely on liquids. He says he can't communicate with her on any level, even though he's warned her that if she keeps it up, he's going to be forced to admit her to a hospital. She's going to be fed intravenously.
Strange. Carrie's the one who wanted to come to prison.
You know, I'm wondering if Jackie's theory isn't correct, and that she's doing this on purpose to avoid appearing in trial altogether.
I take it Miss Todd decided that she wasn't going to come.
I want to know what this means.
If you're still having a problem sleeping, call me. Otherwise, I'll see you at your regular time next week.
Thank you, Doctor.
Here you are, Mrs. Carroll.
Thank you, Donna.
Oh, Donna, did Mr. Marler drop by as he threatened to on the phone?
He certainly did, just after you began your session with Mrs. Calvin. He was adamant about speaking to you. And then when I explained to him that you couldn't possibly be disturbed while you were with a patient, he decided to wait. Then I told him about your policy against strangers in the waiting room, and he seemed to accept that, and he left.
Good, thank you. Have you canceled my afternoon appointments for me?
Yes, sir. These are the patients who'd like to talk to you sometime today on the phone.
Oh. Well, I'll call them from home this afternoon. If you need me, I'll be there. But under no circumstances are you to tell Mr. Marler where to find me.
No, I certainly won't. Doctor, what if he goes through with his threat to bring the police into it?
Well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But it's an empty threat because even the police can't force me to disclose confidential patient information. See you on Monday.
Dr. Hunt, my name is Ross Marvin.
Mr. Marler, I am normally a very polite man, but you have made it impossible for me to be anything but rude to you with your persistent calls and messages. And now you're forcing me to say something I've tried very hard to avoid saying. I dislike threats of any kind. But because I have told you repeatedly that it's impossible for me to discuss anything concerning the woman you know as Carrie Todd, who was once my patient, I am telling you now, if you don't stop this harassment immediately, I'll be forced to go to the police and ask their assistance.
I wouldn't bother doing that. I've already talked to the police here. And Dr. Hunt, I don't like threats either. But if you don't cooperate with me, you'll be subpoenaed as a witness for the defense in Carrie Todd's murder case.
Murder?
That's right. Now, if you had agreed to see me earlier, you would have known that your ex-patient is accused of 2 murders. And in our state, the psychiatrist-patient confidentiality ethic is disregarded in cases of murder.
I'm sorry our lunch ended on a sour note like that.
Well, at least you tried to talk to Amanda. I mean, now you can go away knowing that you tried, instead of blaming yourself this time.
Might have been better off if I hadn't forced the issue, and so might you, because from what Amanda said, I feel pretty sure that she'd be vindictive enough to name you as co-respondent in this divorce.
Well, that doesn't bother me. I mean, I know I have nothing to hide, and I didn't do anything wrong. I know Amanda knows that in her heart, too.
Well, all the same, I don't want you dragged into it.
Hey, I'm going to give you back some of your own advice. Tell you not to worry, okay? And that's what she was accusing me of doing.
Well, that's a habit I don't think I'm ever going to be able to break. In fact, I'm going to go right on worrying about you and thinking about you till I get that telephone call saying that you thought everything through and you've come to the same conclusion that I have. That there are two people in this room who, for some reason or other, could really only fall in love once in their lifetimes. And the only way that they're ever going to be happy is if they're together. From the first time I saw this face, I knew it was the most special face in the world. Like my love for you. It's never really changed. And it never will.
You tricked me. You said you had news of the Longs.
I do have news of the Longs. But the real reason I sent that note was to get you in here. Now, who were the Longs to you anyway, Carrie?
Just tell me, Mike.
I'll tell you. But not until I say what we came here to say. Now, sit down.
I've talked to your doctors. How long do you think you can keep this hunger strike going before they're forced to admit you to a hospital?
You know, Jackie seems to feel that you are doing this in the hope of postponing the trial because you're not going to be well enough to appear. I find that very contradictory, Carrie, because you told Lieutenant Wyatt when you signed the confession you wanted it all over with as quickly as possible.
I still do. I just want Ross to stop whatever he's doing.
You mean to tell me that you're doing this to pull my brother's strings to get him back here?
Yes. And I'll do whatever I have to. There have been 2 people killed already. Isn't that enough?
Well, I am not going to let you add my brother's name to the list of people who have already been destroyed. But the one thing you constantly seem to forget is the fact that my brother loves you very much. And everything he's doing right now is because of you and because of that love. But you know that, don't you? Oh, yeah, you know that. And you're using it to manipulate him, to make him come back here. You've never loved my brother, Carrie. If this is your idea of love, Ross doesn't need it.
I do love him, Justin. The reason I held it all back for so long was to make sure Ross was going to be strong enough to live without me.
I believed that at the time of your confession. I know Ross still does. I don't. Not any longer.
Well, it's true.
Well, if that's true, you must know that you failed. Because Ross can't even begin to think of a life without you. That's why he's out there knocking his head against stone walls, trying to find out things that you won't tell him. I hate to put it this way, Carrie, but if you don't make it through this trial, Ross won't. I wasn't lying to you when I said I had information about the Longs. And I'll tell you what it is, since we're not getting anyplace else. But only if you promise that you're going to take care of yourself so Ross doesn't come back here and find out you've been trying to starve yourself to death in here slowly. Will you promise that?
Promise.
Ross went to see the Longs this morning. And they flatly refused to acknowledge they'd ever even known you. He went back later with Captain Spears of the Omaha Police.
What happened?
He said that you were the one who killed Carrie. That you were the one who killed Carrie.
What happened?
He said that you were the one who killed Carrie. The house was empty. And they'd vanished, disappeared without a trace.
Doctor, her files aren't in with your current file, so they have to be in your back file.
No, they're not.
Listen, I think I may have an explanation. I wish you'd look at these photographs. Now, that gentleman there, that was Mr. Joe Bradley, was a private detective in Springfield, one of the people that Carrie is accused of killing. The other is Mr. Jack Williams, who's a private detective right here in Omaha. He left town shortly after I questioned him about Miss Todd.
I recognize that man, Mr. Williams. He's the one I told you about, Doctor, who was in here a few months ago asking all kinds of questions about Miss Anderson.
Then I'm sure he's the one that broke in here and took Carrie's files. Now, what I have to find out is what was in those files that would make Joe Bradley think that Carrie was responsible for Diane Ballard's murder. Did you know Diane Ballard, Dr. Hunt?
You can go now, Donna. Take the rest of the day off. I'll have the service pick up the phone.
All right, Doctor, thank you.
So are you going to tell me what I came here to find out? Or do I have to wait till next week when I put you on the witness stand?
Sit down, Mr. Marlar, and I'll tell you the strange story of Carrie Todd. I first met her as a young woman, almost a girl, when she became a patient of mine, almost 10 years ago. Her name then was Carrie Anderson.
This has been the award-winning Guiding Light. Fashions provided by Lily Rubin Salon, South Southwest, Ora Feder, and Barney.